12:04 on a game day. New Year's Eve game day. Dun, 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 dun. Are you going to the game tonight for your New Year's Eve? I don't know if I'd want to go to a hockey game on New Year's Eve. I don't want to, like, I'm not slighting the others. I'm not like mocking you if you are going to the game tonight. I just don't know if that would be for me. I don't think I'd want to go to a game on New Year's Eve. Nancy, you love the Oilers as much as anybody. Would you go to a game on New Year's Eve?
No, New Year's Eve is like watch it at home, have it on in the background while you're with family and loved ones, but go to the game and work it. Again, people do it, all respect to them, but for me, it's a no. It's a no-fly zone going to watch an Oiler game as a media member or as a fan at the
on New Year's Eve. I don't think I've ever done it. I don't think I'd want to do it. But if you are going, it could be a tradition for you, whatever.
Yeah,
have fun.
100%.
Have fun. It's just, it's not our thing, I guess. The Oil Stream is brought to you by Boston Pizza. Hey, there's a place you can spend. Go have a few bevies tonight. Have a good time. Hey, why not? Tam and I went out for dinner last night, and we're waiting to get into the taco shop. And there was a long line, and we popped over to BP's, had a couple of drinks. We were waiting to get the text to get in. Yeah, it was perfect. Walked in. BP's was very busy too, but there was like one table in the lounge. I was like, perfect. I'm gonna go hit this up. We didn't dive into any of the food there, just because we were waiting to have dinner. But it was nice steady Eddie there at BP's. If you've not yet checked out that menu they had here in the month of December, absolutely delicious. Penner's Pancakes says solo Dusty today. Not supposed to be. We're waiting for Tommy. Yeah. I think Tommy totally forgot about Oil Stream today. But anyway, he's gonna hop on here shortly. Nanso, a couple of things. What's coming up on EST afternoons later today? What do you got?
Well, just catch up.
By the way, welcome back, buddy.
Yeah.
You had a good Christmas?
Yeah, it was great.
Good.
I ate a lot.
What was your favorite present?
Probably my new running watch.
Oh, a running watch. Well, you are a big runner now.
Garmin, yeah.
Jeez, nice.
Yeah. It's intense though.
Is it?
Because it's got so many different little like settings and gadgets. Like I'm a little overwhelmed.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Marshall got a Garmin.
Fitbit's just straightforward.
For texting for a kid. It's like a simple little thing. But I have a couple Garmin golf watches. Yeah. But this is specifically for running.
Well, I can do golf too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's got a golf option, but I'm not a golfer.
And you can listen to music on this thing too?
Oh, yeah. All your messages come through there.
So you have it on right now, and is it tracking your steps?
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Very fancy, boy.
Cool.
It was good, man. Michael Tracos from the Hockey News to break down Canada's roster.
Yeah.
And then Gager, Coop, and I, for Hernan's role, we're going to just a year in review. Favorite moment on EST afternoons.
Oh, yeah.
Favorite guest.
Well, that'll be a lot of fun.
We're going to see if our 2025 New Year's resolutions were completed.
There's no way they were, right?
Mine was.
Yours was?
Yes.
Was it about running?
No, it was books.
Oh, you wanted to read a certain number of books?
I wanted to read 2 books a month, and I did it exactly. 24.
Holy shit, I didn't know you were reading books.
Yeah.
2 books a month?
Yeah.
God, I got a book actually for Christmas that I'm reading.
Nice. Which one?
It's called Future Boy.
Nice.
And it's like the Michael J. Fox biography of the time that he was filming Back to the Future and Family Ties at the same time. First book I've read in a decade.
Yeah.
And it's an easy read. I'm hammering through it. But I'm enjoying reading a book.
Yeah, it's great.
It's fun.
It's in October I was a little behind. So I had to not pick it up, but I just picked it up and I was able to complete it. So let's see.
That's a very reasonable expectation for New Year's resolution. That's good.
Yeah, it was good. So we'll see if Gager and Coop fulfilled theirs. It'll be fun. We're just gonna have a lot of fun. We'll talk Oilers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Obviously, game
the big
day
game and Mangiapane returning to the lineup. Connor Ingram getting the start, which
that's interesting.
It is very interesting.
Yeah, I thought they'd run it back to Pickard because he was so damn good last game. Well, that's what I was telling Reed.
I was like, Calvin Pickard probably played the best game, the top 2 game an Oiler goaltender has played this year. And you're not getting the next game.
Basically, what that is he's still being treated as the backup, and Ingram's the one.
Sure.
Right? That's what that is.
Again, I'm okay with Ingram starting. Yeah. I'm just a little confused.
I want to see more of Ingram, and maybe that's just the approach that the organization is taking.
Tommy is good to go.
All right, okay, perfect. Let's bring in Tommy Gazzola. He's down at the rink today. Mr. Gazzola, what's up, my man?
Hey, sorry for my tardiness. I was running around the Bruins room and then made my way over. So my bad, lost track of time, and I apologize.
How are things in the Bruins room?
Good. I mean, half the team's still on the ice. So I was trying to visit some friends, see what's going on there, and it's the usual kind of. I think everybody's in like a good mood because it's New Year's Eve, but at the same time, it's like, oh yeah, you got to work.
Yeah,
kind of that mode. That's what it's like around here. But there's so much going on.
You're committed, Tommy, because Rashad's not doing post game tonight. He said to this morning, he goes, "We're just not doing it tonight. We're going to do something tomorrow." And I thought, my goodness, unbelievable. He says that's how he treats his employees. But I was like, no, I mean, we're covering a game tonight. What are you supposed to do?
I mean, I suppose that's the difference between when you're a podcaster and when you actually run a station. So we're committed to our listeners, whereas when you can podcast, you can pick and choose your spots.
Tom Gazzola with us. Tommy, we'll get to we'll get to a lot of different things. First of all, let's hit exactly what's happened down to the ring today. What are we looking at from an Oilers perspective for the game tonight?
All right, we're going to see Mangiapane back in, and that's something we should probably talk about, just like the whole situation, because he spoke to us. And, let's see how he comes out. I know there's varying reports, like was he supposed to play the other night? Was he a scheduled healthy scratch? I mean, the day before he's skating on the fourth line, and there was nothing to indicate he wasn't playing. And then, there's reports saying in the afternoon they let him know that he was a healthy scratch. Okay, message sent. But at the same time, Belzy and I are getting information on what night was that? What day is it today? That was Monday. While I'm on the pregame show, saying that, hey, like he's given the green light from the team to go look for a trade, or his agent has been. And so Belzy reported that, and we hopped on it. You know what? He spoke to us today, and Dusty, there was no denial. There was no denial. There was no saying I have a no movement clause the way other guys have done it. There was no, being like putting the team before himself. He doesn't look like he's a happy camper, and I understand why. His season hasn't gone well, and we'll see where this goes. And that's kind of how he ended his scrum. He said, we'll see where it goes. And, what would help is if he took advantage of whatever minutes he does get and helps the team in a positive way. And, and then the rest can be taken care of itself, or can take care of itself with Stan Bowman and Jeff Jackson trying to find a new home for him. And I think his agent and his side have done all the work they can so far. And
he's back into the top six, according to
take advantage
today. Yeah.
Yeah, take advantage. So use that opportunity, play motivated, and, have an impact on the game in a positive way, as opposed to just being another guy kind of out there not doing anything, which he has been essentially for the last month. And we've discussed that. When you look at his ice time and how he's kind of in that 12-minute to sometimes 10-minute range, essentially for the last dozen or so games. And I think there was one game where he had like 15 and a half, and that was the outlier. So we'll see what he does with it. The best thing he can do is go play hard and give everything he can to his teammates and have a positive impact, and, let the rest of it take care of itself.
The lines that it looks like we'll be seeing tonight, McDavid with Hyman and Nuge, Draisaitl between Podkolzin and Mangiapane, Roslovic still at that third line center spot with Savoy and Matthias Janmark, Henrique with Frederick and Jones, Lazar out, Kapanen was back skating today as well. And any update on when they're expecting him back, Tommy? Or
if they did, I missed it. Doesn't sound... I mean, it's good that he's skating.
First
getting
skate
closer.
Back is going to be a while still.
Yeah. And Wallman, I didn't see him out there as well this morning. There's been a lot going on around here this morning. Who knows? I mean, maybe we'll find out more information later today. So,
what do you make of Mangiapane not just getting back in, but getting back into the top six alongside Leon Draisaitl? Like, is that? There's a lot of different ways fans and media could look at this. You can look at it and go, oh, they're showcasing him. They're going to play him with Draisaitl, and maybe he scores a couple goals. The team will be like, hey, we want to play him on our second line. We'll give you a pick for him. Or is it like, oh, you were bitchy about it, so we're gonna throw you a little favor here, and we'll put you back in the top six, and you have like a period to kind of show us that you're different.
Right.
Like, what do you make of the decision to not just put him back in, but to go from the press box to alongside Leon Draisaitl when you hadn't been there in a few weeks?
I'm glad that you outlined here's a period to do it. Otherwise, we're throwing puck
but that's what it'll be.
There.
Savoy or Roslovic will be up there within a period.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You throw guys back up there. I think it's a go prove it. Here's your chance. And you're right. Like that right side has kind of been a bit of a revolving door of players. So here's his opportunity and his window. It's interesting that they're keeping Roslovic down on that third line center spot. And they tweaked the lines the last game a little bit. I was surprised to see Janmark getting a bump up. I'll be honest with you, as much as I pump up his tires, but go do it, man. Like you want this opportunity. Here it is one more time. Take advantage of it. Otherwise, quit complaining. I feel like that it's more that point of view. That's my assessment of it. And we'll see if he can actually do that. I listen, when guys are motivated, they generally do play better. He's got all the motivation in the world to get off his
you want out of here?
High horse, yeah.
Go play well.
Go play well. Go show that you can still do it. So that's how I interpret it. And like you said, if it doesn't work for whatever, the first 5 shifts or the first period even, then guess what? There's a couple other guys that could slide up there.
Ekholm, Bush, Nurse, Regula, Stastny, and Emberson. And then Connor Ingram does get the start, Tommy. And Pickard's coming off a fabulous performance. I was just chatting about it with Hernan before we brought you in. And I mean, this to me, the situation is being treated like Ingram's the number one while Jari's out and Pickard's still the backup in the same role. Does that surprise you at all? I thought you'd run it back with Pickard if you were kind of like you're both fighting for the backup job right now. Yeah. Maybe it's a good thing for Pickard that he's just securely locked in as the backup, and he knows that when Jari comes back, Ingram's back down, and he's still his one every 4 games type of thing.
Yeah, so the win and you're in type of mentality, that basically throws it out the window, right? We can say that. Yeah,
this is 100%.
I thought Pickard had a tremendous game, best game of his season. Was like probably the reason why the Oilers were able to pull off a win in Winnipeg the other night, and he's rewarded with his seat back on the bench for tonight's game. So yeah, I think that is a sign that they are leaning towards Ingram, and he's given them no reason not to put him back out there, Connor Ingram, with the way he's performed so far in limited games. And I know now we're on the games played watch with him, and that's understandable, but I think you can feel confident too about Calvin Pickard with his last couple of performances, especially the other night, to throw him back out there. If you need to prolong this emergency recall for Connor Ingram as you wait for Tristan Jarry to make his return. So yes, it seems like they have all the confidence in the world in Connor Ingram, and he's kind of the de facto guy right now, regardless of what Calvin Pickard was able to accomplish the other night. And I was hopeful that there would be more of a window for Pickard to kind of reclaim his spot when it came to the goaltending depth. But looks like they've sort of made their decision. At least this is an indicator as to where they're leaning.
All right, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Penner's Pancake says, wait, is Tommy wearing a Rolex? Are you wearing a Rolex, Tommy? Oh.
Bro, this is a fossil. You think I can afford a Rolex?
Oh, let me see this fossil.
In this economy?
Let me see this fossil.
Nice. It's just a simple...
Fossil's like that's a nice store too, Fossil. I bought my wife some.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think I got her a purse from Fossil one year or something like that.
Yeah, it's. I think it's Swiss. I don't know.
It's in that. There's a Fossil in the mall.
It's nothing
by
fancy.
All those other fancy stores. I'm always intimidated going in there.
Don't be.
I'm not a guy who goes into super fancy stores, Tommy, to buy stuff.
You'll be just fine. It's not. I don't think it's that much. It wasn't that much. It's just the simple watch.
I walk into that. What's that other fancy store? Canada Goose. It's they do fancy jackets or whatever.
Expensive.
I walked into that store, and it's like I'm a kid in a china shop, and I don't want to touch anything. I'm just walking around. I don't know. That's an expense. That's an expense. But those jackets, I got Tam one for Christmas like 3 or 4 years ago, and she says it's the best thing I've ever purchased for her in her entire life. And I said, well, it damn well better be. Because that's just...
What was it, like $1,500?
Well, I can't say because she told me she never wants to know the price. So I can neither confirm nor deny if it was that, because she might be watching right now or listening. I don't know. I don't know how much that jacket cost, Tommy, but it was It was ridiculous. I will say
Took
that.
a few payments.
Yeah. That one, I do a lot of layaways at that fancy part of the mall. It's
right.
That's probably it. All right. let's see here. Larzy 6636 says, so was Ingram sandbagging down in Baco? Because you did say, Tommy, that some people down around the Condors were saying, it was actually a Holtby was saying like the numbers are kind of like it's how he's played, but I mean, playing behind a pretty good National Hockey League team right now. Maybe it's, for some players, they say, it's easier to play in the NHL than is in the AHL.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's easier to goaltend for Ingram in the NHL than the AHL because players are defending the way they're supposed to be defending for the most part.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. And, maybe the mindset too, you get back up to the NHL and perhaps Connor Ingram felt like he's back where he belongs. And this is more his speed and his style. And he feels good playing in the National Hockey League. And he's appreciative of the opportunity he's been given and the second chance, let's call it. And away he goes. And he's been surprisingly good. And it was Holtby too. Like he said, Holtby told me, he said he's earned that .856 save percentage and the high threes GAA. And, I think the quote Holtby had was, he's every bit of those numbers. And then talking to other people, around the organization, they're like, yeah, it hasn't been going that well. I know there's reporters that wanted to go down and do a story on him. And, I remember Keith Gretzky saying like, nah, just hold off. Like he doesn't want to do it. Just give him some time. He's trying to figure himself out. So stuff like that, where you go, geez, those aren't good signs. And then he comes up here and he's been good. Again, small sample size. So get another opportunity tonight. I don't see why he couldn't have another solid night. If he gives the Oilers a decent night between the pipes, they have a good chance of winning. And they're going to need the offense to get going. They're going to need to hustle a little bit more in front of him and maintain that solid team defense. But if they do that, I like their chances of beating Boston tonight.
780-218-9999. Ryan from Sask texts in at 780-218-9999 says, after watching a game live in Winnipeg on Monday, I'm even more certain that Frederick is still dealing with an ankle injury. Not making excuses for him because he hasn't brought anything this year. However, very apparent that his first two steps have been impacted, as have his ability to change direction. So the problem for me there is that I didn't watch him enough in Boston to know how good his first two steps were or his ability to change direction. So this is sort of the only Frederick I know, Tommy, and it kind of makes it tough to compare the two, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ryan from Sask seeing firsthand that Frederick is slow to every play, every battle, chasing down players, getting in on the forecheck. And it was interesting too. Like, listen, I go to and defer to guys that have played in the National Hockey League and have dealt with that injury. Belzy had one. Cass has dealt with it. I think Joaquin has talked about it before. And they gave their timeline as to when it should heal or how it healed for them. And I'll go, okay, well, maybe that kind of correlates to Trent Frederick. But what Ryan from Sask is outlining, having watched that game in Winnipeg, is Trent Frederick is slow right now. He doesn't get there quick enough. I don't know if he ever did. I didn't scout the Boston Bruins when Trent Frederick was there. Whenever I saw highlights, he was scoring greasy goals. He was getting into fights and he was hitting guys. And he really hasn't done that. And whether or not that's been impacted by a lingering high ankle sprain, I don't know. It's also interesting to hear what Chris Knobloch, Reed brought it up the other day, I think, what Knobloch said about the injury. And he's kind of ambiguous about it, but he's like, I don't think he's okay. He's cleared to play, but maybe it's bothering, but I don't think it is. And he's kind of going back and forth, back and forth. Are we looking for an excuse for Trent Frederick? Or is he just without confidence and struggling?
If you want to chime in on that, you can hit us up over on the YouTube chat as well. Tommy, let's dive into the Popeyes spicy headlines today. If you're looking for a bite to eat for lunch, swing on by Popeyes. 3-piece, big, thick, bone-in chicken. It's not like, a couple quick pieces of chicken and I'm going to still be hungry. That's not the case at Popeyes. This is a meal, 3-piece bone-in chicken. And I'm not talking about all the fries and stuff. You don't need anything else. This chicken is so large and delicious and juicy. All you need is the 3-piece bone-in chicken for just $8. Okay, your thoughts on Team Canada today. It was announced Bouchard did not squeak in there despite some, in fact, nobody did. They just decided to run back the same 8 guys on defense. Jordan Binnington, despite arguably being the worst goaltender in the entire National Hockey League this year, is back on the team again. Logan Thompson and Darcy Kemper, 2 much better options also there. Tom Wilson makes the team up front. Suzuki makes the team up front. Celebrini and Horvat make the team up front. Connor Bedard does not. Sam Bennett comes off the team as well. Tommy, what stood out to you from that announcement earlier today?
Well, first of all, if Jordan Binnington is the worst goalie in the league, what about Stu Skinner and Calvin Pickard?
Yeah, they're actually much, much better than him so far this year. We looked at it on Lock Shop. Logan Thompson leads the league in goals saved above expected at almost 23. Linus Ullmark is dead last at 84th, and he just left the league for a bit on a leave. Mm-hmm. Jordan Binnington's 83rd. Like, Jordan Binnington has probably been the worst goaltender in the entire league so far this year. So I'm assuming he gets the start in game 1 because of what he did in the final last year. But if he's even remotely close to anything he's done in St. Louis this year, you got couple other pretty good options. Like, Thompson's been lights out for 2 years. So yeah, I would think he eventually is the guy between the pipes, but who knows? We'll see. But what else stood out to you?
A lot of loyalty to the Four Nations face-off team. That was the immediate thing. And the best example of that to me, outside of Binnington perhaps, would be Mark Stone.
But Stone didn't even play well on that team.
That's why I said that. That's why like Mark Scheifele is getting screwed. He's getting screwed. I don't know how else to put it. Bedard's had a great season. I know he's a little nicked up, but I'm sorry. Like, I thought you wanted to play with pace. I thought you wanted to play quick, rugged hockey, and Tom Wilson being on the team doesn't really surprise me. Sam Bennett, maybe that's, sorry, Sam Bennett, you're having a tougher year. So is the Florida Panthers, and there's guys that are performing better and they think would be a better fit in Italy. So, loyalty to Four Nations is what stood out to me. The goaltending thing, yes to Binnington in that regard, but less so because they gassed the other 2 guys. Hill's been hurt all season, essentially.
And Montembeau's a wash right now. Like,
exactly. Yeah. And Dusty, talking about Binnington, talking about Skinner and Pickard and laughing about this and looking at the goalies for Team Canada, it just tells you how fickle the goaltending is. And I know some people, our good friend Lowtide calls it voodoo. I like that term for goaltenders. I'm thinking the other day, I'm like, they're like running backs now. They just turn and burn these guys. And you mentioned a couple of great goalies, money goalies, and how poorly they're playing, and guys who've won Vezinas and guys who've won Stanley Cups being statistically some of the worst in the National Hockey League. That just tells you how A, team defense can affect things, and B, confidence and not making that 1 or 2 saves a night can absolutely tank your season and your overall game night to night.
I was watching the reveal on TSN when they were doing it, and then they looked at lines right after, and they said, McKinnon and Crosby will definitely be together. And then Mike Johnson said, outside of going, as far as the conversation goes at forward, you're going to start by saying, oh, well, Crosby and McKinnon will play together. And then the very next thing everybody will be talking about in the entire country is who plays with Connor McDavid.
Right.
And who do you think? Who do you think will play with Connor McDavid?
We got Marner there, right?
Well, Marner was there at the end of the last event.
Can you start with that?
Yeah,
I'm not tied to it or anything.
As Huss said, if Jordan Binnington is starting game 1 of the Olympics, he wouldn't be surprised if John Cooper rolls back Marner and McDavid because of the way the last Four Nations event ended, right? So
right. And again, if you're gleaning from what these guys are doing, the management team is putting together is a lot of, okay, let's run it back from what we did at Four Nations. And maybe that's how they start. And if they hit a wall right away or they don't like how things go in the first game or 2, then they can tweak things. There's so much flexibility with this roster. Does Sidney Crosby need to play with Nathan McKinnon? Can you not put McKinnon with McDavid? You could do all those things.
You could do a bunch of different things, yeah.
Who do they have first? France?
Oh, I don't even know what the schedule looks like. I haven't even seen that. Let's see.
Yeah, I think they play France in one of the games. like, try stuff, see what works. And I know you're probably going to run roughshod over a team like that, but you have so many options, and that's how I look at it right now. Is try what you had at the end of the Four Nations face-off. See if you can rekindle some of that magic. If you can't, switch it up. You have the ability to. You've got great hockey players on this roster. You basically have a team of legends and all-stars and superstars outside of the goaltending.
Here is what Canada has at the Olympics on the schedule so far. Thursday, February 12th, they play the Czechs.
Okay.
The next day on Friday, they play the Swiss. And then on the Sunday, they play France.
That's the Sunday. Okay.
Yeah. So they get Czechia, Switzerland, and France in the preliminary round.
So the level of competition basically dwindles down. So if, say, they have a tough game against Czechia
will be competitive.
That'll be a good test, right? That'll be a good test. You can tweak some things going into the game against the Swiss, and then see how that goes, and then it should be an automatic win against France in that third game. I don't mind how that sets up for them.
Yeah, good test right off the start, and then you can tweak some things along the way. I'm going to take a second here and just, with the way that this roster came out, and I think there would have been a valid case to put Zach Hyman on this team. I don't
disagree.
Like, the fact that the very first question I saw pop up after was, well, who plays with Connor McDavid? When you've got, and I don't get me wrong, like, there's a ton of skilled players on this team. Bouchard could have had maybe should have been on it, and Scheifele has a legitimate case of being on it. And Sam Bennett, he won the Conn Smythe Trophy last year, for goodness sakes, and did some things in that last event for Canada, and he's not on it. And you watch old Mark Stone, who's having a nice year offensively, but looked way too old for the fastest game we've ever seen between Canada and the United States, and then the whole Tampa Bay contingent. And if you have to sit here and look at this roster the day it's announced and they go, who plays with Connor McDavid, when a guy who is playing with McDavid right now is Canadian, is scoring at a 40-goal pace himself, has more points than Braden Point has this season, and he's missed a ton of time. I think there's a case that you go, you know what, if we're going to sit here and go, how many different guys are you going to have to try with McDavid? Don't bring Mark Stone. Put Zach Hyman with Connor McDavid and find somebody to play on their left side. If Connor McDavid played in Tampa Bay, Zach Hyman would be on this team right now. You can't convince me otherwise. Like, there's no way John Cooper will look at it and go, I'm not going to bring Connor McDavid's most successful winger that he's ever had. And I had some people reply on Twitter when I put this out, basically accusing me of being an Oilers homer, saying, well, McDavid turns everybody into a 40-goal scorer. Wrong. Like, that's just wrong. Like, outside of Leon Draisaitl, who plays with him, whenever they play together, Zach Hyman is the only dude that's ever scored 40 goals playing alongside Connor McDavid. Yeah. Like, Zach Hyman is the perfect fit to play with Connor McDavid. And if we get through the preliminary round going, still looking for some wingers for Connor McDavid, and you're like, yeah, but Cirelli's having a great tournament on the fourth line. I don't know. I wasn't too passionate about it a month ago, but Hyman's come back. He's been playing extremely well. He probably retrieves pucks better than a lot of guys on this team. And hell, he's one of the best net front presence on the power play in the league over the last 5 years. And you've got a bunch of guys who can sling it around, but Tommy Wilson's going to be in the front of the net on the power play, or, bang things in, like maybe Stone, I guess.
Sure.
I don't know. I think there was a pretty strong case for Hyman to be on the team if we're going to ask 10 minutes after it's announced who plays with Connor McDavid, when the guy who plays with Connor McDavid for the last 5 years and has scored 100 goals over the last 3.5 years could have been on this team. It's not like he's an American and it's Kyle Connor and Scheifele and you have to split them up. Right. If you really were worried about finding somebody to play with Connor McDavid, just take his guy,
I'll add this, Dusty. I'm with you on that. I think there's a fair argument to be made for Zach Hyman, despite missing all the time with the injury. Say hypothetical.
Yeah.
You're in the Olympics and he's playing on a line with McDavid. It's not working out through 2 games, let's say. I think you could still find a use for Zach Hyman in a checking role on Team
you could
Canada.
put Hyman on a fourth line with Brad Marchand and somebody, and they could just go out and wreak havoc.
Yes.
Whereas you're not going to, I don't think you're going to say that. Like Stone is, like I said, he's effective this year with the Knights, but I thought he looked like his head was on a swivel last year in the game against the United States. Like he couldn't keep up. Like he just could. And look at Hyman last year in the playoffs, man. He was hitting everything that moved. Like he was finding ways to impact the game. And when they lost him, it was done. Like, I'm sorry, they weren't winning the Stanley Cup when they lost Zach Hyman.
There's layers to his game, Dusty. There's layers to his game that I think makes a better case for him to be on Team Canada, like you outlined, than an Evan Bouchard. You know, I know we're talking about Bouchard snub here in the media lounge, and honestly, the consensus was no real surprise. Give Bouch his flowers because of how elite he is offensively, but you see that Doug Armstrong and the brass went with their loyalty to the Four Nations guys and Bouchard's rough start, especially defensively. And like we were saying, when the guy that's on the executive team from Four Nations was here a few weeks ago and was asked about him, and he goes, no, he wasn't lying. And I don't try to pass along stuff that isn't legit to people. So I get it. But when it comes to comparing Bouchard to Hyman and why one guy makes a better case than the other, it's because you can use Hyman in different roles on a Team Canada in this type of situation. And point A would be working with McDavid on his line. If that doesn't click and you need something else.
But we know it clicks, right? Like that's the thing you don't even have to worry about.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one thing you wouldn't have to worry about. Like it works.
Yeah. And it's not like, hey, say you're down or tied in a game and you need a checking line and you want to load up. You want to go nuclear, as we like to say when McDavid and Draisaitl are together. Okay, so Team Canada, John Cooper says, we're going to take Zach Hyman off the top line. We're going to put someone else with McDavid, but I need a checking line. I would bet a guy like Zach Hyman, if that situation were ever to be real, would end up on that checking line to be relied upon for good minutes to continue to maintain and build momentum for Team Canada. So that's my argument for Zach Hyman. Call me an Edmonton homer, but I appreciate the value he brings to any team he plays on top of the fact that he's a glue guy.
What do you think? 780-218-9999. Penner's Pancake says Hyman's very versatile. And Nas says if Canada left Bedard off the team, Hyman was never going to make the team. No, you are right in saying that he was never going to make the team. But I think you can legitimately say if we're going to sit here and talk about who plays with Connor McDavid, and oh man, it's tough to find somebody to play with Connor McDavid. Well, the guy who plays with Connor McDavid is outproducing 50% of the guys this year in points per game and goals per game that are on this roster. So, you know, it's I don't like the fact that St. Louis and Tampa and the guys kind of calling the shots here. Like if Colton Parayko played in Ottawa, he's not on this team. If Anthony Cirelli was having this, you know, if he, I said it right off the top of the lock shop. If Sam Bennett plays for Tampa and Cirelli plays for Florida, Sam Bennett is on the team and Anthony Cirelli isn't. So I'd have a bit of a hard time listening to Doug Armstrong stand up there and say we wanted to build the best team possible, and that's what we went with as opposed to taking the top 25 players, because I don't know if you've accomplished that with some of the homerism that is happening with a few of those spots. Like I like Parayko, but I don't know. This guy's having much better seasons so far this year.
I know.
And Thomas Harley was a last minute sort of stand-in who probably wasn't even their first choice to be the next choice, and is a minus player on an awesome Dallas team. And they run it back with him as well. And if Jordan Binnington doesn't, I said it on Twitter, and some people came at me for that too, but if Jordan Binnington doesn't stand on his head and make some huge saves in overtime in the final at the Four Nations, I would assume there's 3 different defensemen on this team this year. You know, like I think they're too loyal to that last team. Hopefully it doesn't bite him in the butt. Sounds like the U.S. might kind of be the same way. Like there are reports that Jason Robertson's not going to be on the team, on Team USA,
Didn't Emily Kaplan have a bunch of 4 new additions, like Seth Jones?
Yeah, Seth Jones instead of Fox. Russo had some stuff that Huss was going over as well. So I mean, I guess that's how these teams sort of build these clubs, but there are always some talented guys who are left off. And we'll see. What the one thing they did say, Armstrong said that as far as replacement players go, they're not just going to call up. They don't have a list of like, these are our top 3 guys. No matter who gets hurt, this guy will be elevated. It's going to depend on the style of player that gets injured as to who they will look to replace him, right? So
I don't mind that.
So if Stone were to get injured, maybe they do look at Hyman and say, right shot guy, maybe an opportunity. They could also look at Scheifele. Scheifele's a different player than Stone, and Bedard's a different player than Stone. If Tom Wilson were to go down, is that a Hyman thing there? Another guy that can come in and grind a little bit. Is there any chance you would play Wilson with McDavid? A couple of people suggested that on the lock shop because they're like, he's a guy who can go in and get pucks for him and crash a bang a little bit like Hyman. Might be the closest thing to Hyman on the roster in a heavier, more physical fashion. But I don't know. I know he's having a nice year and he had a good year last year, but
he did.
I don't know if Wilson's got the chops to. It'd be something if he did. But if he's got the offensive chops to ride with McDavid, that could be interesting.
What about this thought? Is he not a more fleet of foot Pat Maroon? And that kind of worked for the 1 year here. Do you have any time for that argument?
Yeah, I guess you could look at that.
Like Pat Maroon had great hands. He had skill. He was just slow, big. Whereas Tom Wilson can skate better than Pat Maroon. If you want to make an Oilers comparable and bring it close to home.
What say you? 780-218-9999. Let's see here. Gord says, Wilson and Reinhart, I would start on McDavid's wings. They're both righties. I don't know if that's ideal. Honto Mo 1 says, Travis Sanheim, I've watched NHL since 1992. I believe he meant to say, I couldn't tell you what he even looks like. Northside Sandwich, do you mean when Stone gets hurt? Yeah, I mean, there will, with how much hockey is coming up in January, there will be 1 or 2 players that aren't going to be healthy enough to go to the Olympics, don't you think? Unless these guys sort of bubble wrap themselves for the next month. But how many games do the Oilers have in January?
15.
15 games in January. So most of these teams are probably playing somewhere between 14 and 16 games in the month of January. I would be shocked if the team that was announced today is completely healthy come Olympics.
Hope for the best, buddy. Hope for the best, but I don't know. We saw like look at the injury list in the last few weeks around the National Hockey League. I know guys are getting healthier lately, but every night we're rattling off 4 or 5 guys that are impact players on each team whenever we're doing a pre and post game show. It's catching up to these guys, and this is the gauntlet this month for every team is January. So I knock on wood that doesn't happen for any Canadian players. I'm sure there's going to be some bumps and bruises by the time Milan rolls around, but yeah, it's going to be tough.
All right, 780-218-9999. That is where you can text in. Coach Mike with an interesting one on the game tonight. We'll try to come back around into that one in a second. Greg says, if I'm Hyman, I'm moving any Mexico plans and vacationing in Malta just in case. Lucky Charlie says Hyman will be on the team when Stone gets injured. Eden says, hey, boys, I think McDavid will play with Hagel or Wilson, someone to help dig pucks from the corner. If Marner doesn't work, I wonder if Suzuki gets a look up there as well. Spruce Grove Corey was in earlier today. He dropped off an awesome charcuterie board that he made. It's sick. He was coming in to pick up his text of the day, and yeah, awesome. Big sort of like cutting board / charcuterie board. It's sweet. So thanks to Spruce Grove Corey for dropping that off. He says, I mentioned this to Trev earlier. Team Canada gets stagnant when they have the same management over and over again. It happened from 2002 to 2006, and it's starting to happen again here. No reason tired old Mark Stone needs to be paraded out again just to hopefully become your 13th guy by the end of this. Ryan from SK says Stone will get injured at the Olympics so he can go on the LTIR, which of course they can't take advantage of anymore, but still that is funny.
I'm laughing at now, good point about Stone from both texters there, but you go to 02 to 06, and remember they had to adapt for the bigger ice, and they didn't, and they admitted that. So, and I do agree with the management teams getting staled if they're running it back year after year, because it's such a long period of time. Guys get older and slower, and the bodies don't hold up like they do when they're younger, obviously. But there was also the strategy from Team Canada, which they admitted after wasn't particularly strong for Torino.
780-218-9999 is where you can chime in. Ryan from Saska saying Reinhart and McDavid will be a pair if I were to guess. That's where it started last year. I could see them trying to run back. I mean, I could see McDavid and Marner to start this thing, and then maybe Reinhart would be the next sort of option. And then, I mean, who would be options on the left side if you're going to try to stick with just righties and lefties on the wings for McDavid?
Dusty, I have a thought here.
Yeah.
I have a thought here. So, like, obviously, whatever this roster was going to be when it was unveiled today, there's going to be arguments, there's going to be disagreements, spirited conversation. But I'm wondering, and you look at the loyalty factor from the Four Nations face-off to this Olympics, and that Four Nations face-off was essentially a test run to get you ready for the Olympics. That was the purpose of it. When you win together, call it a made-up championship, but it evolved into something way more than that. But when you win together in something with such high stakes and the whole globe watching, and Canada, USA, when it became what it did, and you have that bond with one another, I kind of understand why they want to stay loyal to these guys, and I kind of understand the thought, well, it was only a year ago. These guys, let's put them back together and see if they can bring it all back like they did the year before. I kind of get that. And I think there's something to it. Whether or not it happens, time will tell.
That's the thing. There's no gray area here. Like, they win it and they go, well, this is good continuity from the last one, or they lose it and you go, well, you should have mixed it up. Right? Like, there's no gray area. It's one or the other in a tournament like this.
And there will be no cushion for this team or this hockey ops department.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
If they do go Marner and McDavid, I wonder if they play just on the whole righty-lefty thing. McKinnon centers Crosby and Reinhart.
Okay.
McDavid centers Marner and Celebrini. And then you work your bottom six from there, right? You put Suzuki as your third line center, and he has Hagel on his left and
Stone.
Yeah, or Point.
Point, yeah.
And then
I don't mind Point there, actually.
Or you yeah. Or you have Brad. You could have. I thought maybe we get a chance to see a Brad Marchand, Sam Bennett, Tom Wilson line, which I really sort of would have been intrigued by. Maybe we see a Brad Marchand, Nick Suzuki, Tom Wilson line, or Brad Marchand, Bo Horvat, Tom Wilson line. I don't know. Tom Wilson and Brad Marchand, there's something about it that I'd like to see those two guys on. Hell, play Wilson and Marchand with McDavid and just see what happens. That could be,
I guess.
That could be fun as well.
I guess.
All right, 780-218-9999. James is asking us over on YouTube today, and thanks for being here, James. Tell your friends about EST. He says, question for you. Is this the team that wins the gold medal? Is it a lock or a sure thing, do you think?
No. There's no sure thing.
If it wasn't for some ridiculous saves in overtime of the Four Nations, they lose to the U.S. Like,
this is going to be a whammy, hell of a tournament, absolute awesome hockey at its highest. There's no sure thing here. It's going to be phenomenal to watch.
I mean, if let's say they finish second, let's say they get the silver, will we be massively disappointed? We will, but they would have lost to an incredibly talented hockey team as well. And even if they finish third, that means probably one of Sweden or Finland did their thing and somehow got to the final. And those nations are very, very respectable as well. If they miss the podium, it's an ultimate disaster. And I don't see a world where that happens.
Czechia is kind of a team on the rise again.
Czechia is pesky, and I don't know if any of the other teams really factor into it, but we'll have to see. But no, I don't. This is not me saying that I don't think they're a lock to win gold isn't a slight on this roster, even though I think there could have been a better roster they put together. It's the fact that the U.S. is stacked as well. Like the U.S.'s blue line is much better. Like if you look at what the U.S. blue line is going to roll out there, there's no Travis Sanheim on the U.S. blue line. There's no Colton Parayko on the U.S. blue line. And there's no Thomas Harley on the U.S. blue line. Like the U.S. is getting Quinn Hughes back, who they didn't have at the last event. So that'll be big. And a healthy Shea Theodore will be a difference for Canada as well. I mean, Logan Thompson has been just as good as Hellebuck the last couple of years. So if they end up getting to Hellebuck area, Logan Thompson, I think maybe you could say it's, between the pipes, it's close to even if they do go to Thompson and he plays how he's played for 2 years. And then the forward group, obviously, when you've got Nathan McKinnon and Connor McDavid, it's going to give you an advantage. But I do think the further you get down the lineup, the U.S. has more offensive firepower than what Canada could maybe bring to the table with the roster that they've constructed here as well. So it'll be good. Like that's a really, really good team. It's going to come down just like at the Four Nations. It's going to come down to who finishes at the most critical of times. And if you think you want to side with McKinnon, Crosby, and McDavid, nobody's going to blame you for that because there's a really good chance one of those guys plays the role of hero here. But this is not a lock. I saw somebody say on Twitter, like, Team Canada is stacked. And I mean, any Canadian team is going to be stacked. I think statistically and skill-wise, they could have been even more stacked than they are. But they're going to try to run it back with most of the group that got through it in the Four Nations. So, yeah. Plus, the Celebrini factor is huge. Like, I sure hope they don't go, hey, we've got a bunch of guys who played in the Four Nations. We're going to start you as a 13th forward. And then, like, put this kid in the top six and just let him cook. Like, he is unbelievable. If they Hockey Canada this thing and slow roll him into the tournament, I think it's a major mistake.
I'm just thinking back to Four Nations. What if Matthew Tkachuk was slightly healthy? Yeah. In that final, health is going to play a huge factor in this too. Yeah. Celebrini. He seems like he's got a lot of swagger too, Dusty. Now a year and a half of NHL experience under his belt. I don't know if the moment would get to him. You know what I mean?
I don't think so.
Everything I've read and seen, he'd handle that stage and that pressure. And he's got, by the way, legends insulating him literally and figuratively right around him.
Dirty Don says, what was Celebrini's puck retrieval rate? Would he be a fit for McDavid? Jamie McLennan did point out today that even as a rookie last year, Celebrini had one of the best puck retrieval rates in the entire league. So maybe that could end up being something that works as well. I want to get to this one from Coach Mike about the game tonight. Tommy, it says, which team do you guys think has the advantage in a New Year's Eve game? Home or away team?
Away team.
Think so?
Yeah. There's a lot of family kicking around, plans. What are you going to do after? And then with the Bruins, I know they're staying here. They're talking about their celebration, but it's more low key. You're together. You don't have the outside noise.
Where would, in your opinion, if you were on a visiting team and you were going to be in town after the game to go out for New Year's Eve somewhere in the city, where would you go?
Here?
Yeah, in Edmonton, if you're the Bruins.
I'm assuming they're going to have a ballroom for themselves and throw something.
But from a party perspective, Tommy.
Well, you got to go to the ice house, right? Or you got to go
right across the street.
Yeah, you got to go see Patty and the crew at the ice house. It's a big open spot with a lot of fine beverages, good food, and good splendor and fun. So I'd recommend there, but I don't know. Maybe they book a room somewhere too. That does happen.
Well, they'll be flying high if they win tonight, that's for sure. What time do you get rolling on pregame?
We get going 6:30 p.m. Myself, Sean Bell, and Benny Thompson. We'll have you all ready to go for tonight's New Year's Eve action. Classic New Year's Eve. I think post-game, Owanek even gave us the green light to go a little earlier and wrap it up quicker. So we'll try to sneak read in and get all your post-game analysis done very efficiently tonight.
What are you up to? What's your New Year's Eve plans, Mr. Gazzola?
Well, I don't know. I just got a VIP keychain to Kelly's, so I might have to take advantage of that.
Might have to. Like it's not already locked in. That's
I don't know. Funny. It's going to be late. I'm not a big New Year's guy, but I did get a VIP.
No, but you're a big Kelly's guy. So
yeah.
it doesn't matter if it's a Tuesday or New Year's Eve. You're a big Kelly's guy. So yeah, that's probably be a sighting there tonight.
I'll be around. That's all I'm going to say. I'll be around downtown.
A man about downtown for sure. Yeah. All right. That is going to do it for the Oil Stream. Tommy will be back at 6:30 with the GCL Diesel pregame show, postgame to follow as well. It's been brought to you by, as it is every single Oil Stream, the fine folks at Boston Pizza, and portions of the Oil Stream brought to you by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. And of course, all of Edmonton Sports Talk presented to you by our partners at Play Alberta. Find the EST early bird bet of the day just waiting for you on our page at playalberta.ca and on the Play Alberta app. EST Afternoons is on the way next. For Tom Gazzola, I am Dustin Nielsen. Enjoy the game tonight. Happy New Year's, everybody. Enjoy your night. Be safe and take it easy.